Welcome to Pound for Pound ATL, arguably the best place to get facts and opinions on your Atlanta Falcons. And absolutely the best place to get your opinions in. The conversation starts.
What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again with another Pound for Pound ATL Live. Joined, as always, by my main man, Toby D. Toby, what's going on, brother?
Another win. That's what's going on.
Yeah, it is.
2 wins in a row. Let's go for 3.
That's right. 2 wins in a row. It was a gritty, grinded out type of win. Once again, the defense was able to come in and seal the deal at the end with a pick from Dee Alford, which was great to see. So yeah, man, it was an interesting game, to say the least. Now we're already kind of getting warned about no negativity because from our good buddy, I'm gonna show it. Our good buddy Fred Butts there saying no negativity. We win. That's true. We're gonna try to keep the negativity to a minimum. We can't just like not talk about some of it, but you know, it is what it is. So, Toby, what's up, dude? How you been, bro?
I'm gonna tell you what's up. The first place I got to go is them 2 safeties that we got, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, the future for Grant and Jay Hawkins, man, we got something right there, Doc. I'm so excited about them and the plays they've been making these first 4 games. It has been exciting to see. So that's a great thing for us going into the future.
I mean, okay, let's talk about this real quick. Now, granted, like he's not in our upcoming Ballers and Fallers segment, but Richie Grant with a solo goal line tackle on Nick Chubb.
Yes, Nick Chubb.
The same running back that requires folks to make business decisions whether they want to tackle him. And he come up and took him out by himself.
Yes.
Dude, I was so impressed when that transpired, when that, play and right there at the beginning of the game, man. I was like fist pumping. Now I had to get on the road shortly after that, but being able to watch that one live, that was awesome to see.
You talking about a play that set the tone, especially shutting them down on all 4 downs at the goal line. And man, Kevin Stefanski, he was frustrated with that because he felt like they should have had a touchdown. And he said the whole time the Falcons had never been tested at the goal line like that before the whole 3 games. And so that's why they felt very strongly that they would be able to get it. But guess what? The Falcons defense stood up at that goal line, but all 4 times, and it's a wrap.
and let's go ahead and talk about like is all pro AJ Terrell back? Like we wondered where he went the first 2 weeks, and since that Seattle game, he reboosted his confidence going up against DK Metcalf, and it carried over with him shadowing Amari Cooper and holding Amari Cooper to 9 yards?
Yeah,
something of that nature.
Catches. Yeah,
right. So yeah, that was a well done performance by by AJ Terrell. And while we're in the process of it, I'm gonna go ahead and shout out the defensive line as a whole in a sense, because like Lorenzo Carter is steadily applying pressure.
Yes.
AK-47, he is like a hair's breadth away from having him a multiple sack game.
Yeah.
Which dare say it against a more statuesque quarterback that we have coming up. I ain't saying that, they're going to get to him, but like he's a guy that ain't going to make you miss much. Not like Geno Smith and Jacoby and even, Stafford at times. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how that D-line was. I'm actually relatively excited, and it's paying off well because Grady Jarrett is looking like Grady Jarrett of old.
Man, oh man.
Yeah. So, the guys that are bringing that heat on the outside are, eventually, like especially the last 2 games come the fourth quarter, are, getting Grady free.
Oh, snap, wound.
Nope. Oh, hold on. Got to get my. There you go. It's $5 from Room Carter, which we very much appreciate. He says, Rise Up, Pound family. I want to say I truly appreciate you guys for all the work you put in breaking down this Falcons roster. It's what we try to do. We try to give y'all the content that we would want, the content that we think that y'all want. We really hope y'all been enjoying the film breakdown that we've been doing on Fridays, the different style using the next gen stats play charts to break down some of the films. So we really hope that y'all have been enjoying that because we've been enjoying making it. So like I said, hopefully y'all been enjoying. Oh, hold on, got that react. Yeah. $5 for Fred Butt says
Fred Butts.
with a Sunday with a win Sunday, we will be in first place. I need college Marcus Mariota. Dude, we all need college Marcus Mariota to show up. I think he's left in college. I guess we could use that to go ahead and transition into our Fallers and Ballers segment, brought to you by Pound for Pound ATL. Maybe one day we can say brought to you by somebody, but not today. So as you can see, our Ballers and Fallers are none other than Caleb Huntley, and unfortunately, our follower is Marcus Mariota. So we will get to. Let me switch out my dealio here. I like this new program, but there's it could be a little more streamlined than what it is. Hold on. Oh, where did it go? Oh, I should have had it up. There it is. Let's see. Do. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, dude, come on, you're killing me." Y'all just, I'll bear with me.
Okay, we're gonna be patient.
There we go. Here we go. All right, so we're gonna start with our baller. Our baller is Caleb Huntley, the undrafted free agent out of Ball State, who spent the whole season on the on the practice squad last year. Started out this year on a practice squad. Got brought up, which kind of gave us an indicator on maybe the level of like pain or whatever that CP84 was dealing with. Because he got elevated before the game, even though CP was active. Now, obviously, since then, CP has been put on IR, which we'll get into that here in a little bit. But on Sunday, he had 10 carries for 56 yards, averaging 5.6 yards a carry and a touchdown. Like, it was a truly, truly impressive performance.
Yeah, he came in there hungry, man. I mean, like I said, this is a man that, he grew up in a rough life, and he'll hint out and tell you that every now and then, from where he came from. And to do what he did, jumping into that game and just coming out right out the gate, just going at that Browns defense, man, that was impressive.
It was very impressive. I mean, there was like last year and this year, he was the most productive runner for in the preseason, and we were wondering if he was going to get a chance to show it. And he didn't necessarily, get that chance. Oh, here we go. Got another one. Will it die? He tipped us $2. Says Falcons have a puncher's chance. Thanks, P for P. I think we do. We're definitely going to get into that. But let's get back to talking about, Caleb Huntley, because his performance was truly what I consider to be an aspiring performance. And as you just stated, pre-show, he lit a fire up under Tyler Algier.
Yes, he did.
Up to that point, Tyler Algier hadn't necessarily, he'd been running kind of timid.
Yeah.
And not necessarily showing you what he had when he was at, BYU. He would get that contact, and that's what you were looking for. Like I was noticing in the Seattle game, I'm like, okay, if he could spend a couple games getting his feet under him and getting used to, the NFL's, speed and size and that kind of stuff, I could see him starting to be productive. But I think that timeline got sped up when Caleb Huntley came in there on that 10-play drive and just started ripping it up.
Caleb Huntley went in there with nothing to lose, and
Yeah,
and that's what you saw, and it put Tyler Algier in a bunch because
right,
he had to come out and prove, hey, look, I'm the 5th round draft pick. I got
right.
drafted. Caleb didn't, and he's outshining me. I got to come out here and do my thing too, and he did.
Yep, exactly, 100%. Let's see. Bully says Huntley a beast. If you see he runs like an actual running back, he knows how to cut through holes
Hmm.
and how to trick the defense. That was something
Yep.
that you had said, you know, pre-show. Like his vision is a really good, and that was something that, like, he showed well at Ball State was,
Yeah.
that he had good vision, and if he can keep this up, like bringing Huntley in the fourth quarter, when teams have
Yeah.
already been having, to tackle Algier or to, chase Avery or Damon Williams, and when he comes back, like if you bring in, Huntley as like a closer, I think that's a role that he can definitely thrive in very well.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I would
somebody
have to agree.
somebody had said on Twitter that he is the back that we thought Olesen was, and I tend to agree. Like as much of a Olesen fanboy as I was while he was on the team, I really wanted him to get a fair shot, and never really did seem like he could get any traction under him. Like Caleb Huntley is what I envisioned Olesen to be. Now the question is, can he keep it going?
Yeah, he's got a burst, man, and
Yeah,
and
he
he
does.
will carry some people. He don't have a problem. Him and Tyler Algier have shown they will carry some guys with them to get what they need to get, and that's what Nick Chubb is all about, right?
Right,
So you see two guys doing that, coming out there carrying folks, getting first downs, and getting huge chunk yards.
right. Like as Mark Turner, commented here, he's talking about the O line opened up huge holes. I think you're finally getting to see the Ledford effect
Yeah,
that we were hoping to see, come in last year. Didn't necessarily get there, but with the added, mobility of the quarterbacks, making it a little easier. Like even Caleb McGarry was talking about, it was like uh, 14 days of Christmas. That the 14 straight runs. So for like a full like lather, he got to come off and hit people in the mouth.
yeah.
And for a guy like McGarry, that's what he wanted, right?
Yeah, I mean, to get them tight ends and wide receivers credit too, man, because it's taken all 10 of them, to open up for those guys like Huntley and Tyler
Yeah,
Algier and CP84 when he was in there. I mean, you watched that game with the Seattle Seahawks game, man. I went and watched that all 22, and it was a thing of beauty watching everybody blocking and sync together, man, and knocking guys off the ball. And that allows us to get even more explosive, longer runs when you have
right.
everybody helping out.
If I ain't mistaken, we're in the top 10 in explosive plays through 4 weeks.
Wow. Wow. I
So
hadn't even looked at that stat
yeah,
yet, but
that's
man, wow.
yeah, that's really, especially with, let's go ahead and throw it on up there, especially with our faller being Marcus Mariota. I know we ain't gonna stick on this too long because I mean, right now we know, like Marcus is what he is, right?
Yeah.
But through the 4 games, you've got 7 turnovers. On Sunday, you only had 7 completions, and you've only thrown for 3 touchdowns this season.
Yeah.
That's, man, like altogether, you account for less touchdowns than you do turnovers right now, and that's not good. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
absolutely like unacceptable in my opinion. Now,
Yeah.
Nick says Mariota's fourth pick wasn't his fault. Now, are you talking about the fourth pick? You talking about the pick with Denzel Ward, right? In the
Hmm.
Browns game. And I'm going to go ahead and call it. A lot of people have already said it, so I'm not necessarily going to try to take full on credit for it. But, dude, he was playing trail technique all day long. He
Oh yeah, yeah,
baited
yeah.
Marcus into that throw.
Yeah. He look, Denzel Ward, they watched film, man. They had plenty of time to study our film. They knew that dig was coming off that left side. They saw it in week 1 against New Orleans where he got a huge play. Now, at that time, they ran more like a levels concept where they had a dig underneath and they had a deep dig over the top, which was Drake London that he hit. They tried to disguise it and just have Drake London over there so that, the defense of the Browns couldn't pick it up. But too late. Denzel Ward already sniffed that dig route out, and he was right up on it and jumps in front of it. The throw was right where it needed to be and would have led him up the field like it did week 1 against the Saints. But give credit, Denzel Ward. That's why he got the big payday in the offseason because of that.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, there's that old saying that, like, those guys are pros too, and, that was something that they had put on film up to this point, and that was something that they were looking for. And when they got the look they wanted, like, he did what he needed to do. Like, he baited Mariota into that throw. And, everybody's like, oh, Drake should have had it. Drake never really did get his hands on it.
Like when you watch Drake tried to slow play it a little bit so that Denzel couldn't snip it out. But Denzel, man, you got to give him credit. He was patient and he waited that route out, and he felt confident in what he saw, and he jumped it.
That's it. Got another one, my man. Philip Bonner. $10. We appreciate you greatly. He says both Huntley and Algier are looking promising. We need one of these guys to become a 1,000-yard rusher, and it's truly exciting time for us Falcons fans. Rise up. I will agree that there is definitely it is an exciting time. Like you can give whatever you want, like I said again. We're not gonna spend a ton of time on Mariota tonight. He is what he is at this point, but there's a lot of things to be excited about when it comes to this team. I think we're the second youngest team out there, with the second or third youngest team, and so that's awesome to see. And you're seeing guys like the young guys already contributing, such as Richie Grant, like you talked about the safety duo, Grant and Hawkins.
Yeah.
You talk about what we're seeing out of Ebiketie and Malone. Like Malone isn't necessarily getting around the quarterback, but he's in on some plays. He's in on making some stops. Like, I hate to say it like this, if they decide not to re-sign Lorenzo Carter, I could see Malone playing that role next year, because they're putting Lorenzo Carter in coverage quite a bit. Yeah. And I think right now Malone is kind of like Carter's backup. Now, through 4 games, I'll take Carter back. Like, I'll take Lorenzo Carter back. I don't know what his payday is going to be, but, through 4 games, I'll definitely take Lorenzo Carter back and have him and Malone, continue to be a really good tandem, as far as like subbing in and out for each other.
Now, I'll tell you what, it's the little things that the D-line does that we don't take into account this year that we didn't see last year. You saw Lorenzo Carter everywhere, blowing up screens, blowing up running backs, blowing up a wide receiver if he had to tackle him. He was all over the place. And all of the D-line, I remember that's one specific play on that last drive that the Browns was running before the sack of Grady Jarrett. Grady was getting ready to go in, and he slips, but he recognizes that a screen is getting ready to come, and he hustles his way over there to the left side of that field. Even though he didn't make the play, it just goes to show you the things that all of them are doing. Ebiketie, him, Taquan Graham. We don't talk a lot about him.
I was going to get into Taquan, dude.
But it's the little stuff they're doing that adds up.
Taquan looks like that running mate that we've been looking for Grady.
Yeah. Yeah.
That line, when they roll out that line of Ebiketie, Graham, Grady, and Lorenzo, dude, that's that line.
Yeah.
That's that, all-purpose, line that you want out there that can handle. And then they got some very nice, like, rotational pieces, such as Antonio Holloway, talking about Abdullah Anderson has been a nice addition.
One of my guys.
Yep. Abdullah Anderson has been a very nice addition. Timmy Horn has looked good as an undrafted defensive tackle. I would like to see a little bit more out of Anthony Rush, but I think he is who he is at this point. Like, he's just in there to clog up the middle.
Yeah, he's doing a
So
good job at it too.
right, like he had at one play, Chubb bounced off his chest, and but I would love to have seen him, make that tackle,
Yeah.
because that would have been a nice tackle for loss. Um, so who said it? Let's see. And Antonio Holloway followed up. Lorenzo Carter has already been better than Dante Fowler. Yes, he has.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already, very excited about like I said, I'm excited about Carter's addition. And then a linebacker core, Mark Turner has Rashawn Evans has been all over the field
Yes, he
for
has.
2 games. Yep, he's looking like he's getting his feet up under him. You got Troy Anderson with a block punt. Now, Michael Walker had a rough game, but the first 3 games, Michael Walker's been lights out.
Yeah.
So I would expect a bounce back game from him. So I'm not necessarily worried so much about Michael Walker right now. It was somebody up earlier. We're doing the chat a little bit different. I'm trying a little bit different if y'all hadn't noticed, and kind of getting y'all involved a little
Yeah,
earlier.
I have. Yeah.
Uh, seeing how that goes, just trying something a little different. Somebody asked earlier about Deion Jones. I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Fred Butts did. Fred Butts
Yeah, it
did.
was Fred, and I'm trying to see if I
Uh-huh.
can get it pulled back up. Because
He
talking
asked if
about
we yeah.
would Deion Jones start if he came back, because he's a better coverage guy than
And Michael
Walker.
Walker. Yeah.
I hate to say this. Right now, he has a better coverage reputation than Walker, but the last 2 years, that coverage hasn't been there.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been nearly as good as he was the first few years in the league. So I don't know. I'm really not 100% sure it would be an upgrade, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to dog um, Deion Jones. I know he's been a punching bag for Falcons Twitter and the Falcons fan base, and he's been somebody to argue over. I'm not trying to argue. I just don't think that he would be at this point would be an upgrade over what you have in Michael Walker, because Michael
Yeah.
Walker can do something that uh, Jones hasn't really shown to be able to really do well, and that's fill a gap in the run scheme and blitz off the edge.
Yeah.
Those are things that Walker brings to the table, and you'll live with some not subpar, coverage. You'll live with some little bit of lapse in coverage, with bringing that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Two things the Falcons defense is doing exceptionally well: get turnovers. And not only they're getting turnovers, but all 4 games they've gotten at least 1 turnover in a game. And they're keeping down the red zone scores. I mean,
Right.
3 out of 8 in the last 2 games that they've allowed the offense to score. Dude, that's huge.
Yeah, that's major. That's an absolute, major aspect is what the defense is right now with this young core. You're really getting a true bend but don't break, which can be frustrating for us as fans,
Yeah.
because you want to see dominance on, both sides of the ball. But as it stands right now, like I'm liking what I'm getting out of the defense. I would like to see some of that pressure show up earlier in a game,
Yeah.
you know, instead of the last 2 games, you're closing out games with sacks, which is great. Like, especially coming off of only having 18 sacks last year. I'm much rather enjoy the getting sacks, and especially getting sacks from your playmakers like Grady Jarrett and Lorenzo Carter.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to see, but I'd like to see can we start affecting the quarterback sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say Brandon D had a question, man. He wanted to know, are the fumbles mostly on Mariota or Drew Dalman?
Okay, the one that he fumbled the snap at his hands, that was on him. Like he just didn't catch it. Now Dahlman has had some low snaps, and he's got to get that cleaned up.
Yeah.
But that one that really that really killed that drive there in the first half, that was on Mariota.
Yeah.
Mariota should have caught that ball.
So if you don't mind, let me say something right there
Yeah.
because I don't know if you saw it or not. But I've said this before. It seems like every time Mariota gets the look that he knows it's going to be advantageous for them, that's when he makes mistakes because he's so focused on making sure he make the play that
Mm-hmm.
he makes the mistake and fumbles it and does things he shouldn't do. That play down there was a touchdown. That was the same similar play when you had Pitts and Drake London on the same side during that Rams game. Remember when they did them cross slants and Drake got the touchdown? That was a touchdown going right to Drake London again, who crosses over Olamide Zaccheaus. He was in for that touchdown, but then look what happened. It goes for 3. And
Right.
Mariota has to stop that, man. If he don't slip in that Rams game, Hesse's going straight in for a touchdown now off that bootleg play.
Yep.
He going in.
The plays have been there. Like
Yeah.
anybody who was, worried about the play calling of Arthur Smith after last season, like these first 4 games, that worry should be done
Yeah.
because what they've been able to do with that pistol power formation has been a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
When you got, the back lined up behind you or behind the quarterback and Parker Hesse out there beside him, like because Hesse's got enough hands on him to make those catches, that allows you to do so much out of that formation.
Yeah.
And, especially when you got guys like Drake London and Kyle Pitts who can do both the dirty and the spectacular. Like, whether it's this year or not, because you got Teron Willis saying, please put in Ritter. Whether it's this year or not, I can't wait to even look at this point. Again, we're 4 games in. Mariota's still got time to try to attempt a turnaround.
Yeah.
But with competent quarterback play, this is going to be fun to watch. Like I can see what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun to watch. Matty Go says, I'm kind of scrolling back up a little bit. He says, we get $100 million to get some sack masters and run stuffers to go with Grady and Ebiketie. The free agent market on sack guys isn't great this coming year. So I think the top guy is Bradley Chubb. I think
that's who I want. That's who I want.
want.
That's who I want, Dale. That's who I want now.
Look, at this point, I wouldn't mind, Will Anderson or whoever the top fire breather coming out of college is, myself.
Yeah.
But let's see. I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah. Nick says, scheme Pitts open. They are. They are scheming Pitts open. Mariota apparently has Pitts blinders on. He can't see through, whatever. I don't know what it is because I could have swore we would have been force feeding Pitts with as much as Mariota threw to Darren Waller and Delaney Walker.
Yeah.
Like I just knew we were going to be force feeding Pitts, and buddy, have I been wrong on that one?
Boy, I was way off, man. It's been all Drake London the whole way, Doc. It's been
The whole
Drake
way.
London and everybody else.
Yeah, Drake London. And I mean, it's fine, but dude, you drafted him 4th overall,
You did.
You drafted him to, I don't care what anybody says, you drafted him to be the focal point of your offense.
Hey, I
And
feel you.
through 4 games, he still ain't got no touchdowns.
Well, look like it's gonna be the 5th game again. I guess.
Touchdown watch.
He got it the 5th game of the season against the Jets last year, so I guess he's gonna get the 5th game against Tampa. I guess.
Fred's asking,
We'll see.
why does Mariota refuse to scramble? I think he's being told to stay in the pocket. In a sense, I think because part of his problem right now is he looks to leave too early. And when you have these 2-man routes, like part of the deception is making people think you're running the ball.
Yeah.
And these 2-man routes that they're running behind it take a little bit of time to develop. And it could be like hey dude, I need you to read the daggum defense. I need you to look at your progressions. And that may be what the deal is the past. Because the first game, he ran for 77 yards.
He did.
And the second game, he ran for a decent amount as well. But these past 2 games, he hadn't been scrambling as much.
Yeah.
And I think that's by design. But I think you're going to have to, you know, pull the Band-Aid off that one. Because I will say this, I have enjoyed, granted he's missed, but I do like when he has taken off, he's still keeping his eyes downfield and trying to get a bigger chunk. That Parker Hesse 22-yard conversion was on that. He started taking off running and then saw Hesse open downfield.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that they're going to have to start utilizing more, in my opinion, than they have been the last 2 games.
I don't know, JR. I will say this, though. It's 3 things for this offense to be successful. Number one, the obvious. They have to be able to run the football at all costs. Number 2, they cannot get forced into a lot of third and long situations. You do not want Mariota doing that because they did get forced into at least 5 of them, 3rd down and 7+. And number 3, he cannot be throwing that ball past 20, 25 times a game. And if you need to go to 19, it is what it is because that's just not his game.
Yeah, no, I think because you can see, like, in the Saints game, you had his most attempts and his most completions.
Yeah.
And we have steadily started working down to the lowest amount. Like, he was 7 for 13.
Oh, my goodness.
My man attempted 13 passes. That's crazy to me. Chris Jameson, our good buddy Chris Jameson. He said, Mariota's about to Trent Dilfer us to the playoffs or play Ritter and get another top 10 draft pick. I don't know, Chris. Like, we ain't got the Ravens defense. Like, look, if we had the Ravens defense or, the Broncos defense or even Carolina's defense, from back in, a few years back, I might be inclined to agree with you. But our defense is opportunistic. They're bend, but they don't break most of the time. But also keep in mind, the past 2 games we played Jacoby Brissett and Geno Smith. Now, granted, okay, I take that back. I think Geno Smith is actually leading a lot of QB categories right now. So through 4 games, he's been one of the better ones. But still, it's not like we've played like overwhelming quarterback talent through 4 games thus far. Brandon Levy says, what do y'all think about Oliver coming off IR and the play of Richie Grant? I'm loving the play of Richie Grant. I think Dee Alford and Mike Ford have done a decent job holding down that nickel spot. Mm-hmm. So I'll be real interested because as of right now, they haven't activated Oliver. This coming week is the first week that they can do so.
Right.
So, and, Smith did say it would be sooner rather than later, but that didn't mean it was going to be this week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I would like to see Oliver back. And as long as he's back and ready to be in like full effect. Because, like I said, as of right now, Mike Ford and Dee Alford, who got his first pick, have been holding that spot down decent enough.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mark Turner says, we're being compared to last year's Cincinnati by ESPN. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to look again. I'll send Chris Jameson some more like pound for pound merch at the end of the season if Marcus turns it around and I'm completely wrong and have to be eating crow. I'll find something else to send you because I just don't see it right now.
Yeah, the only thing that gives me confidence, and I've texted you about this earlier on, JR, about Marcus Mariota, is the comparison I'm drawing right now, David Garrard from the Jaguars. 2010, he had the same situation. First 4 games, 6 turnovers. First 4 games, and they did go 2-2 them first 4 games, and then they went on to win their next 2 after that. But he still gave them the best chance to win, and he missed 2 games that year. He only played 14 games, but they still had a chance to not only make the playoffs, but they had a chance to win the division. Okay, and this is even with MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew, who missed a couple of games himself that same year. So that's the only thing that's giving me confidence that there is a situation where, and I think Arthur Smith didn't believe this, where they could overcome it if they can just get to, get them to a more settled place. Because like we said, the QB is QB friendly in that offense.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, our good buddy Woon Carter with another $5. Thank you, Woon. He says, just because I love the show, rise up and let's win on Sunday against Tampa.
That's what I'm talking about, Woon.
That's it. That's what's up. No, I mean, I really do hope we win. Obviously, not just for all the simple facts, but man, wouldn't it be nice to actually beat Tom Brady for a change?
Oh my goodness, who we've never beaten.
We've never beaten. Can we get him once? I mean, he's got a sore rotator cuff. His wife might be trying to leave him. I mean, if there's ever a time, right? But then again, they just got embarrassed by the Chiefs, so this might be the wrong time to get Tom Brady.
How you said Marky Jitty just said, JR, you're not a sneaky Colts fan. It's a lot of sneaky Colts. It's a lot of bashing the squad after a win.
I know, right? Now hey, look, okay. I gotta calm down with that because in a sense, right? In a sense, like, Marcus Mariota's number 2 in turnovers. Who's number 1?
Matt Ryan.
My guy, right? Right. So I will fully admit that had we had Ryan right now, I don't think we'd be 2-2. Straight up.
Right.
And I think we may even be winless. Okay. like I ain't watched Ryan just because I don't really watch a lot of in-depth watch teams that aren't mine, Yeah. I'll catch them if they're on or if I ain't got nothing else to do. But it looks like Father Time might have walked up and punched Ryan in the face. Because, straight up and down, we don't do a lot of talking about fantasy on this show, fantasy league. But, we're doing a church league fantasy type deal, right? And my wife grabbed Matt Ryan.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Lord.
Pray for y'all. Pray for.
Please do, because and then she turned around and she's like, well, fine, I'm going to grab Mariota. I was like, don't do it. Don't grab Mariota. So she ain't been having no luck. So I will fully admit that if we still had MR2, we wouldn't be laughing right now. We wouldn't be cutting up. I might have a bag over my head like old Saints fans. So you're right. I get it. And I'll try to back off the negativity because I'll fully admit that the past few years I've probably been biased, and I told y'all that. Like I can admit when I'm being biased, and I can admit when I got some rose-colored glasses on, But Mark said you never bashed Ryan like this. I know. Look, everybody's got their own faults, right? Right? Like, ain't none of us perfect. I fully admit this. I fully admit my blind spot these past few years when it came to Ryan. Well, guess what? That blind spot's gone. He's on a different team. And so now y'all get even more unbiased opinion from me. Let's see. Bully says, Matty Ice, he says, but his yards are way better, but same, I feel we would be worse. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely more accurate, but he ain't gonna give you. He'd be on his back, and we'd still be worried about our offensive line, like straight up, right? Instead, because Mariota can move around a little bit, because you can do some different things, launch points and stuff like that. our offensive line is actually like in the top 10.
Hey man, hey, Bully, just write your name on a prayer request and give it to JR so he can take it and put it in the
I
prayer
got it.
request
I
pot.
got him right
Matty
there. I got
Ice.
him on. Hey, look. In one of my leagues, I somehow ended up with Davis Mills as my quarterback. Okay,
Hey, that's much better though.
that dude ain't
Shoot.
no.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh my goodness.
Well, let's see. A commentator said during the game that somebody would have fell on that ball after the bad snap. All right. Thought that was going to be a funnier comment. Oh, come on, King. King knows he wants to say something. He said, I'm not going to say nothing. Come on, King. Work with me now. Oh, let's see. What else did we miss? Oh, yeah. Y'all see Tack McKinley's playing for the Chargers? I thought he was playing for the Rams.
He
He's
playing for the
playing for the
Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, he playing for the Rams.
Yeah, because he was getting into it with somebody on the sideline. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
even got a sack? Like, at all? Ever? Like, how you going to be getting into it with anybody? And you ain't done nothing. So, like, yeah, I saw that last night. That was interesting to say the least. The Rams, boy, they do not look like a Super Bowl contending team right at the moment.
No, boy, I tell you what, the New Orleans Saints are who we thought they were. We just let them off the hook.
Yeah, we did. That we did. Yeah, somebody says, Gray Tune says, Tack about to get cut again. That he is. Let's see. Runez says, do you think Mariota's problem is that he takes too long to get the ball to Pitts? Stats showed Pitts had almost no space between him and the defender by the time the ball got there.
No. He looks for Drake London every time.
Yeah.
You watch it.
And when he does,
Drake London before anybody.
Yeah, then so by the time he does look to Pitts, yeah, that defender is a little close.
Windows closed.
What kills me, or not kills me, what makes me like really think is like that tunnel screen, that screen that you had to Pitts. Man, that was a thing of beauty. Why aren't we doing more of that?
Hey man, look, I don't know.
Maybe it was like you said. When Myles Garrett and when Jadeveon Clowney went out, they felt like that they could run the ball.
And they did.
And they did to over 200 yards rushing.
Yeah, and they did.
So, because you called it, like for the first time all season, Damiere Byrd was active.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, not bashing. Maybe I am. I don't know. But had he thrown that ball to the post, that would have been a touchdown. Like Damiere got the inside leverage.
Yeah.
As a cornerback, you don't ever give up the inside. As a wide receiver, that's what you're trying to get is the inside. He got the inside leverage.
He did.
And Mariota throws it out. Anyway.
Yeah. Now I would dare to say there should have been a penalty called on that though.
Oh, very much so.
His
very
right arm
much
did get held, but I digress. I'll just leave that alone.
Right. Fred says, did y'all see how packed the Benz was? My boss was there and he was even commenting on that on how packed it was and Grady said something about it and Arthur said something about it. So it was good to see. I'm glad to see that the fans are getting. Now granted, I think there were a lot of Chubb fans in the building.
Yeah.
Because my boss is like, that's the most Browns jerseys I've ever seen. And he said a handful of people he talked to said they were basically just there, rooting on Chubb. So, it is what it is. Either way, the stadium was pumped.
Out of your Falcon mind and ass.
Oh, are they in there? Oh, let's get with them here in a second. All right. FM says, I give MM1 credit for his heart and his doggedness. I really think that he's doing the best he can. A. Smith took the ball out of his hands in the fourth to avoid him losing due to QB turnover. Now, I agree with that part. And I do think that, I'm never going to, discredit Marcus's, passion or his want to win. I don't think he's being bad on purpose or anything like that. I think he is I think he is doing everything he can. And hey,
Yeah.
Can he turn it around? Sure. Of course you can. Like when Brady first got to Tampa Bay, the first 6-7 games, he looked like Father Time done grabbed him and put him in the grave.
You're right.
And then he turned it around.
Yeah.
So, like I said, again, these are another one of these perfect examples where I would love to, by the end of this season, be sitting here eating crow.
Yeah.
I'll even put a faller. I'll put me as the faller. I don't even care. Out of our
Yeah.
Falcon Minds
Yeah.
says
Go ahead.
one penalty for 15 yards, boys. Yes, sir. That
Yeah.
is another major aspect.
Yeah.
I think I cut you
Discipline.
off. Was you gonna say something, bud?
No, man. I mean, I was just going to say, man, from here on out, the Falcons are 2-2. I'm whatever happened in the first 4 games, I am forgetting about it because they just allowed themselves to hit the reset button. And how
Oh yeah,
ironic it is to play against another division opponent. So it's like 0-0 to me. This is where it really started. The 4 preseason games is over. Now let's get to it and see what Marcus really got, and
right.
we'll see where
And
he ends up at.
like you could, by all accounts, you could come out of first place in the NFC South
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Hmm.
Like as much as we want to be optimistic, I don't think anybody was thinking that. Through 4 weeks.
I'm not gonna say I saw that coming. I
Yeah,
didn't.
I didn't. I definitely didn't. I told y'all what I was expecting out of this team, or what I wanted to see
Yeah.
was a competitive team that showed improvement, and we've gotten
Hmm.
that in spades.
Yeah.
So I am definitely happy. Brandon Levy says, what do y'all think about this Tampa matchup? It's gonna be tough. Like, but they have, their offensive line has been a little sketchy. But
Yep.
the uh, rubber band hamstrings of Julio Jones is up and down. They've got they're beat up.
Boing, boing.
Yeah, they're beat up quite a bit, and on their wide receiver core, I think they just got Russell Gage back. They still got Mike Evans, who is that's a beast, dude,
Yeah.
and he has been. Leonard Fournette looks like Derrick Henry light
Hmm.
in the way he's running. Maybe not necessarily the production. So
Yeah.
they're gonna have to. It's gonna be a matchup, and like I said, you got Tom Brady coming off of being embarrassed at home, by Patrick Mahomes, and then you got this stuff coming out with Giselle Bunches, like our buddy EDM over here. Giselle's using her witch powers on Brady. The second time I've seen that today, so that's why I put it up there. That's kind of funny. But and the deal here is now, like I said, this could be a game where Mariota's legs come into play.
Yeah, it could.
Because the Bucs, like Todd Bowles, is a blitz happy coordinator.
Yeah.
Well, he's the head coach now, but I believe he's still calling the defense. So, like, he's blitz happy.
Hmm.
So, somebody's asking, Brandon says, can they run the ball on Tampa? Well, like I said,
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who hasn't been a like absolute slam dunk back, had almost 100 yards on him.
Yeah.
And there was another guy, a rookie guy, who was getting some good run on him. So I think it's doable. Especially with that wide zone. If you get them guys running sideline to sideline. Now, what you're gonna have to watch out for is what Devin White and who's the other linebacker? Levante David.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that and Shaq Barrett. Like we're gonna have
Hmm.
to see if the O line can keep Mariota clean.
Yeah. We definitely gonna have to move the launch point
Oh,
quite
for sure.
often
Yep.
in this game to keep them off guard.
Right. Uh O'Brien says the Falcons won't get any respect until we win a Super Bowl. 55 plus years of losing. And we did go to 2 Super Bowls, but the bins will fill up when we win it. He said, but he's sold as 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 a coach. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far out of Smith.
Yeah.
I was concerned early on, but I think those were unfounded concerns. So, let's see. Here we go. Howard says Dahlman, our center, is bad against pass. So if those Bucks stop the run and force Mariota to throw, it's going to be a long day. That's the thing right there. If they can't run on them, and they're going to try, and they're going to try to get it going, and they're going to try to keep it going. But if they can't run on them, and Mariota has to do it with his arm, I don't think we walk out of there with a W. And
Yeah.
that's just being honest.
They have to be able to run on them, JR. Like
Yeah,
you always used to say, that's a hill you're gonna die on. This team has to die on that hill, and they know that the run at all costs, you're gonna have to run because that's who you are. You know you don't have a quarterback and do that. Look, we were down 28-3, and that's why I was texting you earlier today. We were down 28-3 against the Rams. Do you think the Falcons deviated from that run? No, they did not. And they only
right,
played 56 plays, just like this game, because
right,
teams know they can score and try to keep them off the field, but the defense stealing possessions helps balance that out when teams trying to own that time of possession, and what the Browns clearly did by a nice little large margin on us with the time of possession. They were number one coming into that game anyway in
right.
time of possession, but we got to run, man. That's who we are. We have to run the football at all costs, no matter what. It took us a minute to get going on the Browns, but we did finally break through, and we ran the ball like we needed to.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's like they're gonna have to stick to that.
Yeah.
And Greater Tones talking about like I wish we'd do quick passes like he did in the preseason. I think there's a good chance that you're going to see some more quick passes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some more like zone read style. And the reason why I say that is because part of what you were seeing on Sunday, you saw a lot more like zone read stuff with Mariota and Algier.
Yeah.
And I think that after that, whatever that miscue was up in Seattle where they fumbled the ball, I think that was a point of emphasis of, okay, we need to get him used to what this
Yeah.
is going to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And, so they did that 4 or 5 good times.
Yeah.
So I think this could be a game where, if they get to running the ball and these DNs start crashing hard, that Mariota pulls it and comes out the other side. So
Yeah.
it's going to be an interesting matchup. And I think
Yeah.
Mariota is going to have to use his legs in this matchup, just like King's saying here. He said Marcus will have to run with the Bucks. Also, he can't just stay in the pocket and running a read option will be our key. I think so. I think this will be one of the first times like that's going to become a integral part because I see that as being an advantage.
Yeah.
You know, uh, Greasy Flight says Browns fan here. Good win, Atlanta. Thank you, sir. We
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
you being in here tonight. Thank you for being by all accounts the being hospitable, right? Like Browns fans are the ones I've interacted with are good fans. They're not ugly like some fans, and disrespectful. Mr. CDX for Life says defense is going to win us 5-6 games this year. Marcus got to do his job much better. I am liking how opportunistic the defense has been through 3 games or 4 games.
Yeah.
So I do like that quite a bit. Let's see. Let's see. Dex says Marcus can't make the mental mistakes at crucial times of the game. He has to make his passes. He has to make the passes that he's supposed to make. Right. This is a QB friendly, as we have been saying. The
Mm-hmm.
reads are simple,
Mm-hmm.
and they're done that way on purpose.
Yep.
So he just has to take advantage of that. Let's see. The Falcons are doing more with less. They are going to be a dangerous team this year and future years. Arthur Smith and Fontenot can find starters, and Dean Pease is building up the defense.
Yeah.
I do like what I've seen out of the front office and stuff so far. As
Yeah.
far as what they've been able to give with no cap space and what this coaching staff has been able to do with said players.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if they keep this up, like right now, we've already matched our win projection that everybody had for us.
Right.
Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of aspects, you've met expectations through week 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, build on it. And if you can exceed expectations, by the end of the season, uh, that should give, even if you decide not to draft a QB, that should give everybody confidence that they're okay with what they got.
Yeah. I mean, to be at this moment, JR, you're at the moment of fighting for sole possession of the division through 5 games. You can't ask for anything more than that. I know a lot of people did not see that happening. I was one of them. I said it was possible they could go 2-2, but I didn't think they would because I just didn't see it early on. But to be at this position, you even saw Terry Fontenot up in the locker room, and they normally don't show pictures with Terry Fontenot in the locker room after a game. But
Right.
they are excited right now, and you deserve to be because you earned this moment to be here at this time in this situation right now.
Exactly. I mean, you definitely have played yourself to be there. You have scored over 20 points in all 4 games, which I don't think they had a stretch at all last year where they scored 20 points in 4 games.
I don't think so.
Not in a row, not like that. And, you have a lot of things working for you in your favor right now.
Right.
So you've got every reason to feel good about where you're going.
Yeah.
Even Fred says, who knows, Mariota might have his best game of his career on Sunday.
And he could.
And he could, man. Would I would so champion that. I would so be, fist pumping and hooting and hollering. I would love to come on here and talk about, 3 or 4 passing touchdowns and no turnovers. And I'll spend a whole segment on just talking about the good,
Yeah.
if that ends up transpiring. Because, like, I don't want people to think I have some kind of axe to grind or ill will. To my knowledge, I was one of the only people saying that there was a chance, there was a scenario where Marcus could regain his, career,
Yeah.
and we'd be set for the next 4 or 5 years,
Yeah. You did.
with a QB.
Mm-hmm.
And every
Yeah.
time I brought that up in space chats or whatever, people kind of like chuckled at me.
Yeah.
So please don't think I'm just bashing to bash. I'm not. I'm just talking about what we see.
He's going to have every chance, and they're giving him every chance to show that he can turn this thing around.
Yep.
Because, and we'll keep saying this, this is a QB friendly offense, and he's going to get some of them same looks again later on down the line. And I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to take advantage of that the second time around
Right.
and third time around. Because the way they got this offense set up, he's going to see some of them same similar looks throughout the season. So I'm curious to see if he improves and actually makes those plays that he's missing early on or missed early on in them 4 games.
Right. Antonio brought up a comment that I thought was interesting. He says, I don't know if people noticed, but Arthur Smith said he likes having Dean Pease on the sideline. He said he liked having Dean Pease and Dave Ragone on the sideline.
Mm-hmm. I
Says
like it
he
too.
felt, yeah, he says he feels like he can turn his back on the game, which means like he can really get in there and, talk to the players, hear what they're seeing out there, and make the adjustments, things like that. He feels like he's really being able to, be more of a head coach in that in that aspect. And
Yeah.
you saw like Ragone like getting frustrated
Oh yeah.
on the sideline, so that's something else to kind of
Mm-hmm.
keep us or keep
Keep him
looking at.
there. Yeah.
Our
Yep.
good buddy Tony Wright's in here tonight. He says, I saw this
Hey.
happening, but I also see a tough stretch of games coming up the next 3 weeks. Oh yeah. You got the Bucks, you got the Bengals, and I'm drawing a blank. Crap, 49ers, I think.
Yeah, 49ers here at home. And
Yeah.
and I would say this. I'm not advocating to start Ritter. I just want to say that. But if you are to start Ritter, I would let him start at home in front of his fans where
Right.
he'll have more support. And if you have to bring him in a game, bring him in before he does that at least. If it comes down to it, but I'm hoping Mariota can turn it around. Hopefully
Oh
this
yeah,
game he
definitely.
can do it
Because
because yeah,
Dez has a good point here in a way. He says it's not that you're bashing him. It's just that you want the best, the best for your team, and ain't nothing wrong with that. I
Yeah,
hope that's what's coming across. You know, that what we're trying to do is just have the best product on the field.
right.
And through the first 4 games, if this is the kind of QB play we're going to get, that means that's Mariota's ceiling. And you'd like to think that Ritter has area to go up. So, you can get these similar mistakes out of a rookie with room to grow versus a vet with that may be all he's got.
That they listen. I'll say this again, and I don't want people to see it as bashing, but if it is, it just is. But the way it comes out, they know Marcus has a ceiling. They're just
Right,
trying to see if they can overcome it and squeeze out as many wins as they can get. Like I said about the orange, hey, you squeeze as much juice out that orange you think you can get before you throw it away and go to the next orange to make your orange juice. So
right,
they're going to see. Arthur wants to see how many wins they can, squeeze out and see how much they can overcome it with other things that might can help it, whether it's the defense, special teams, or running the ball mostly, if that's what they have to do, because Marcus is still showing he can make some plays and
right.
operate the offense, in a decent fashion right now. So, hey, get all the juice you can get out of the orange juice, man.
That's
See how
it.
far you
That's
can
it.
go.
Let's see. All right. Get this one says O'Brien says Marcus is good, and I agree. We don't know what we didn't know what he was, and we had just lost Matt. We all thought it would be we all thought it, but Arthur Smith has been a great scheme, and he is smart. He can get us back to the Super Bowl. Well, that's the hope, right? Is that he can get us back there. But yeah, I mean, it made sense. They have familiarity. At least you knew you were going into the season with somebody you were familiar with.
Yeah.
May not always been the best option, but you. And speaking of that, King adds, if the Falcons decide to go get a QB, how do you guys feel about Lamar Jackson with Arthur Smith's playbook? Would it be worth the money uh, and be a monster move to make us a contender? I mean, hypothetically, let's say Jackson does leave Baltimore. I don't see it happening. Not I mean I could see Baltimore franchising him twice before letting him go in a sense. But let's just say that's the case. I I wouldn't be against it, and I think that if he got out on the open market, they would probably be in for it. What do you
Oh
think
yeah.
about that?
Oh, they will be all in for it because this offense is set up for Lamar Jackson now. The way that we run this offense, and you heard John Johnson, the safety over there for the Browns, said it earlier in the week. 100%. It looks like the Baltimore Ravens offense, which is another reason why they were prepared for it. Now, of course, he said Lamar's Lamar. Not trying to take a major dig at Marcus, Mariota, but Lamar's on a totally different level when it comes to doing what he does than Marcus is. And
Completely
so, but the offense is catered to where Lamar can come right in and it will be on and popping.
right. I mean, you're already set up with a freak of a tight end. You have a on par, if not better, number one wide receiver in Drake London.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, and they've shown already that they are willing to go after a veteran versus
Right.
a young guy. So
Hmm.
be interesting. Uh, some folks are saying like not another skate channel says I'm good on Lamar Jackson. Let's get a young defender in the draft. Um, yeah, I tell you this, as it stands right now, I am not like necessarily over the moon about Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, to be
Yeah.
completely honest. Um, I tried to watch a little bit of Will Levy out of Kentucky. He looked okay. Um, but, when you sit here and try to tell me, oh, well, like CJ Stroud, yeah, okay, you're playing against Rutgers and a lot of like lesser talent. The vast majority of your schedule is that way.
Yeah.
And I would hope that you would look amazingly against those guys. And I'm not even saying he's going to be a bad QB. It's just, I mean, I watched Ritter take a team that by all accounts wasn't as talented out of a, non-Power 5 conference to the, college football championship and hang with Alabama
Yeah.
for a good chunk of that game. So you already got Ritter here. I'd much rather see a year of him
I think
myself.
it's Ritter's team, man. I think
I
it's
think
Ritter's
so.
team. I think they're going to build his defense up so that they can support him more in that area. So I think I still am under the belief unless Lamar springs free, he doesn't
Right.
want to be in Baltimore. That's the only way they make a play. But I don't see Baltimore, especially with their defense not being tops like they used to, letting Lamar go out of that division. I think they fight hard to keep Lamar there.
Right. I completely agree. I know it's a great what if, and we all like to play, fantasy football in a sense of what we can do about, building our team.
Yeah,
But realistically, I don't see Lamar getting out of um like leaving Baltimore.
yeah.
I mean, y'all have seen that tattoo on that dude's chest. Like he wants to be in Baltimore. And he just wants a fully guaranteed contract.
Hmm.
And I think if they get to the playoffs and make a deep run, I think he'll get it.
Yeah.
It may not be this year. They may franchise him once, but I think they'll get it. Because, I mean, they did the same thing with Joe Flacco back in the day when they won a Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Flacco wanted a contract. They held off. He bet on himself, won the Super Bowl. They paid him.
Yeah.
So that just seems to be their MO. Let's see. Greater Tone says Ritter got that fight in him that Arthur Smith wants. Like he definitely seems to be, like we said it during the draft process, he definitely seems to be a Arthur Smith style quarterback.
He is.
He's got that tenacity.
Hmm.
He's got that fight. I think they're just letting him. They're not rushing it along. They
Don't rush
know,
it.
like all those coaches know. The worst thing you
Hmm.
can do is put a, quarterback out there too soon.
Yeah.
There's a real good chance that Chicago has completely ruined Justin Fields, and
Awesome.
that there's a good chance that same thing might be going on down in Jacksonville, with Trevor Lawrence. So, it'd be interesting to see how that stuff plays out.
Yeah.
Let's see. King says, I agree to have Ritter play than getting a young I agree to have Ritter play than getting a young QB out of the draft. I don't know. I don't know if I need a young QB this draft. QBs come out every year, so if we don't get one this year, we let Ritter play for a year and we're like, oh God, this looks horrible.
But see, here's the other theory that I had too about Marcus Mariota.
All
Marcus
right.
knows he's either a backup or a starter, but you don't want to rub him the wrong way. You want to encourage him. So you let him see himself either if he can make it or he can't, because you have a chance to at least keep him on as a mentor for Ritter as a backup should things not work out with him being a starter in Atlanta. So I think
Right.
there's two sides to that coin to where you don't want to totally mess things up just in case you do want to entice Marcus to stay here as a backup with Ritter.
Right. And that's a good, because that's what you saw in the preseason. Like the things they were doing with Ritter in the preseason, like gives you hope for the future going
Yeah,
forward. Like, and I think that's why you have people clamoring like they are for Ritter.
right.
Those three preseason games gave you a real good, uh, taste of what Ritter is going to be or could be.
Yeah,
Now, keep in mind he was doing that against twos and threes, but that pocket presence, that the arm strength that he displayed, that has shocked everybody, like has you feeling good about where he is.
yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Nope. Tony's going to disagree with me. He says, JR, Trevor Lawrence is playing well in Jacksonville. He's still making some mistakes, but it's a big improvement from last year to this year. And their team is 2-2 in first place time. All right, 10-4. Like I said earlier, I don't necessarily Hawkeye every team in the NFL. If I catch a game here or there, depending on my time and my schedule. I just know I saw some kind of headline where he had 5 turnovers last week or this past Sunday. So that just may have been just a bad game. Oh, let's see. A few more, and we're going to start wrapping this thing up. Marty Young says we have to trust the process. When Ritter is ready, Arthur will know. If you rush it, you could be looking at a Josh Rosen or even a Trey Lance situation. Yeah, Trey Lance, that sucked with him going out like that, with that ankle injury. You can't really, yay, now we can stop with this nonsense. Aaron Judge just hit a 60-second home run. I'm surprised they didn't cut into our stream. And I guess they did. Good job, Howard. Oh, man. Thea says, Ritter, like Dez made a lot of mistakes in preseason. As you would imagine, a rookie. That's the only point that we were making with Ritter is that if you're going to watch mistakes out of Mariota, then I'd much rather watch it out of a guy who we don't know who the ceiling is, which has only been the only point I've been making about Ritter. Let's see. Somebody says, O'Brien says, hold on. Oh, where did it go? O'Brien says Ritter is a lesser Ryan and a lesser Vic combined into one. Equals dangerous. That's pretty good. I like that. Oh, man. Let's see. Somebody says, Andro says, do you even want Ritter learning from Mariota? I want him to learn what not to do. LOL. Hey, some of the best lessons I learned in life was what not to do.
Yeah.
Like if you could see somebody else make the mistake and you don't have to make it yourself. Like some of the best lessons I ever learned were watching people make a mistake and going, okay, yeah, don't do that. So, let's see. Yeah, you ain't wrong about that, Tony. Says now the big disappointment is Ryan in Indy and Wilson in Denver, as both QBs are having problems scoring points with their new teams. I feel bad for that both those fan bases.
Man.
They were so hyped getting those guys in, and it has looked bad these first 4 games.
Yeah.
My guy, I think we've done it. I think, as you say, I think we have emptied the bucket.
Emptied the bucket, man.
I've got to get got to get my ticker going. Bam, ticker. Don't get the chat back up just in case somebody says something crazy. All right. So, as always, y'all can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. Toby?
Toby D 1991 all day.
That's right. Keep your eye on the channel. We'll try to have something out again this week. I'm going to be out of town, so it might be something a little different depending on what we can pull off. But either way, just keep your eye on the channel, and we'll definitely be back next Tuesday with another show. Thank y'all all for the ones who tipped us, and we thank y'all all for just showing up and supporting us. And as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up. Appreciate that, King 7.
Yes, sir. Peace.